Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Airships Conquer the Skies. Today's beverage is a quite sweet lemon and lime juice drink, also very acidic, so if my teeth start falling out during the middle of this video, then we pretty much know why. Either way, in a previous video of Airships, we were pretty much starting from scratch. Because of the hard drive purge of 2020, long story short, I had to format the computer. I lost a lot of the files. Now, about 80% of those things have been backed up, so things like, if we go over to Design and Fight Airship Editor, a lot of these designs, or some of the designs for the airships, the ground ships, and one or two of the ground structures, those have been backed up and I could load them in, but I like the idea of starting again, because basically of several years of iteration, a lot of the designs were either no longer effective or as effective, or just flat out broken and didn't work, because there's been a lot of things added since we started making things. There's been a lot of tweaks and changes and better way to do things, so I thought it would be a nice idea to start again, and that's pretty much what we did. Now, I'm still not opposed to loading in old designs, even if it's just for reference, but either way, in the previous one, we managed to make what was originally called the Testbed 1, because I didn't have a naming scheme, and a couple of things. It's now been renamed to the SP Sparrowhawk, but I'll get to that in a moment, and you can see it's a little bit larger than the test bed. We now have 4 sets of marine barracks, 2 fore and 2 aft, a slightly different layout for the supply hatches, and we now also have a grape shot cannon. The cost is 1,246, so it's a bit more expensive. The speed and service ceiling is still excellent, and the command is still pretty good as well, although it could be a bit better. I'm still probably going to change the layout at some point. I haven't done a monumental amount of testing with this, probably 3 or 4 fights, but it was better than the test bed. But that's what we made really at the in the last episode. Also, the naming scheme has changed. It's now the SP Sparrowhawk. Now, I did ask what you think we should start calling things, and there was many suggestions, a lot of them excellent, a lot of them questionable, shall we say. I know a lot of people wanted to go back with the Intong scheme, so Reactington, Speedington, Rammington, Bombington, Rocketington, Torpedoington, Long Range Shottington, and the reason we dropped that naming scheme in the first place is because it was far too problematic, especially once we got more stuff, so I ruled that out straight away. A lot of people also wanted to see the city and town names come back, so the Denver, the Colorado, the Carnarvon, the York, the New York, the Paris, etc. But I was hesitant to do so because although I like that naming scheme, certain designs and certain names had, shall we say, some negative connotations for some people, and that was never my intent. I never wanted to cause any offence, and although, like I say, that was not intended, it did have some connotations. So I thought we'd drop that, and we'll go with something that a couple of people suggested, and they said go for, say, a town and city name for the airships, go for a mountain names for the static structures, and then for the ground ships go for rivers and lakes. And I thought that was a great idea, but I've evolved on that a little bit, and instead we're going to go with living creatures. So anything that flies, so the airships will be things that fly, so it'll be bats or birds, things like that. For anything that's on the ground but moves will be like land creatures, so it'll be the cheetah, the tortoise, etc. And then for static structures, we'll go for plants, trees, that sort of thing. So we'll go with the oak, the daylily, whatever we want to go with. And I think that's a fairly decent compromise, and it's different from what we've got. And also the SP just denotes that it's just our build, so we're not going to go with HMS, GLV, whatever. It's just everything will be SP and then the name of it. And that's my intent until probably the next episode, when I completely forget this naming scheme exists. Right, let's design something else, specifically a mid-level armoured bomber, which we have done previously, but I think we can iterate on it a little bit more. So over to weapons and then down to the bomb bay, and I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably 8. I don't know really what cost we want to go with, but I certainly want to go with heavy steel armour. That is my intention here. When I'm making these designs, I'm not really looking for particularly any tech level. So we'll have to see. I might go with either steel armor or heavy steel armor. Things like the shell and dragon hide we will be avoiding, because those are things you can normally only get in a campaign anyway, by doing certain events and destroying certain things mainly, whereas the other stuff is researchable, so we'll go with that. So there is our bomber. It's currently called the Overwhelmer. I'll have to name it in a bit. As I said, the naming schemes, this one flies, so it'll be named after a bird or something. I'm not going to be thinking too hard on, right, so what's quite tough bird that flies and then tends to drop things on people? I'm pretty much going to call it the herring gull, most likely, but anyway, probably they'll probably have the vulture or the crow or whatever. Let's go over to our, well, what do we need? Well, we need somewhere to lift off, so we can go with a large suspendium chamber, like so, and that will give us a service ceiling of 319 meters. As long as it's over 200, I am fine with that one. For propulsion, I'm not going to go with a large propeller. It's just going to have a standard propeller on this thing, I believe, and that's okay. I will obviously have to probably drop this down a little bit so we can get access to this thing. Although we do need probably a bit of a gap. So I'm going to go remove these bits here. So we'll have a gap there, 1, 2, 3, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, and then that's the size of the bomber. Is that a reasonable assumption? I don't really know. Do I really need 2 entranceways? Yes, I think I do. Anyway, over to our basic here, and then to the corridor with ladder 1 and then 2. We also need some way to actually, well, manage these bombs, so we'll go for resources, ammo store, and we'll have probably an ammo store in there and in there. Next to it we will have a fire point, because these things do tend to go on fire quite a bit. And oh, our service ceiling is already a little bit lower than I thought it would be, so that's going to be problematic, because if we put a coal store in, which is what we need, you can see we're already up to 199 meters, so that's a lot lower than I really want. I would like it higher than that. Is it possible to build, say, maybe one there, one there? Let me put the fire point back in, and maybe go for 2 of these. That would give us a 300 meter service ceiling, but it's getting quite expensive already. Is that a big problem? No, I don't think so. About 2 grand would be a very nice touch, but we'll have to see. How much do these burn? These burn a unit of coal every 10 seconds, and we have 50 coal capacity, so we're burning 2 every 10 seconds, but we're probably not going to be moving. That's probably enough, you know. That'll be a couple of minutes. Well, we're burning a unit of coal every 10 seconds. So we're burning what? 2 every 10 seconds, actually. So we're burning 12 every minute. Plus or minus whatever that thing uses. You know what? That should do the job. That should be okay. So I'll put in that there and that there. That gives us the connections. Turn our overlays on, and we can see we do have good connections down to the bottom there. I will have, well, if we go to command and crew here, we have a telescope which increases our accuracy by 30%. Does it work with a bomb bay? I think it does. I would like a crow's nest, but it's possible. It's possible. It's only 20 as well, whereas the telescope is 126, so we're already quite high tech. Maybe we don't want that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make sure we can give it commands and it's got quarters in first, because, well, that would be a decent thing to do. Recommended crew is a lot more than I thought it would be, actually. That is a recommended crew of 29. We also can't repair this thing. I mean, we don't have a machine shop or a barracks. Hang on, I'll tell you what, we'll put those in a row like that. That is still not as many as I probably need, but we'll go for command and crew. We will have a sick bay on board. We'll also have a bridge. This is not the final layout, obviously. I'm just placing the tiles down so I can alter them later on. And we also want a repair bay. Repair bay there as well. Okay, so I'm going to move these up. So remove those. And we'll have a repair bay, a sick bay, and then we'll have 1, 2, 3 potentially. Question is, can I place a sloping piece there? I can place it there. Yeah, that's... I actually don't mind the look of that. Problem being, I don't have the recommended crew. I need even more crew than it is offering us. So what I'll do is move these forward a little bit. And then in between these, I will have a berth, which acts as ladders as well. And do I want the same near the front? That would give us more crew. That's about right, actually. That's not too bad. We don't have any... We don't have any supply hatches, so I'm going to put one at the back. So how many do we need? Supply. Supply is... It says 18. So if we go over to resources and a reinforced supply hatch, no, I'll just go for a steel cargo door. Steel cargo door gives us 40 supply. So that's actually a lot more than we need. A lot more than is necessary. So I'll pull those back to where they were. And at the front here, I'll use steel supply hatch. There's those 3. Right. Could also just extend that to there if I really wanted to. Okay, it's a bit blocky at the front end, but it's not too bad. It does function. Over to our... No, recommended crew is actually increased as well. Do you know what would be better if I just had 2 of these in? Another one of those. That would be 57 though. Are we starting to price ourselves out of the market? Possibly. I also don't know whether or not our ammo is close. Is it close enough to the back? I realised I've reloaded a lot of the things here. We could go for a taller build like that. I don't particularly mind it, but no, I don't think we need that. I think having it like it is probably not too bad. But what I'll do, because I do think I want potentially the option for a crow's nest. So I'll be command and crew. Crow's nest gives us a 10% accuracy bonus. And it does stack with the telescope. The problem with the telescope and the crow's nest is it's giving us 30% accuracy. That's not a problem, you understand, but it's also 126 generic units of currency and plus 20. So nearly 150 for those 2. I'm going to go with it because it's exactly on the right amount of crew. And we'll have it as that. This one I will put, again, more sloping pieces in. And we will put those down. Like most of my designs, it's just a brick. But let's go for armor. There you go. That's heavy steel armor. I think it is. No, it was steel armor I went with, which is 132 meters. Heavy steel armor would be a lot more expensive, and also the service ceiling would drop to unreasonable levels. So we're going to go with steel armor. I think that would be better. So let's try... What name do we want to call it? Okay, I went with the herring gull. I was just going to call it the Gull, but that would rule out any different names in the future. The reason I went with herring gull is I was trying to think of a flying creature that I regularly see, in fact, experience doing certain dive attacks. I'm trying to skirt around the issue, basically dropping poop on people. And living near the sea, that's the most common gull that I see and experience. And yes, we do have personal experience in that. Okay, SP Herring Gull, we will save the design and let's see if this is useless or not. So we'll leave that and over to combat. We will go to the airships and the SP Herring Gull, which will go up there. You can see the maximum service ceiling was about there, so that's not bad. We're going to add a land chip in, and we have a tiger here. We actually have 2 of them, 1, 2, and both of those come to a little bit more than this thing. So I'll remove one of them, add in a land ship once again, and go for maybe a strider. And there we go. And no, that's a little bit too expensive, a little bit too cheap as well. Land ship. And, oh, there's something called a bore there, which is a ramming vessel. I mean, I could put the Titan against it. You know what? Let's put the Titan against it. I was going for a 1v1, but I don't know if that'll work. So we'll have one of those. And I'll go for add airship. Oh, add airship. Herring Gull. Herring Gull. 1, 2. I think it's too expensive. Yeah, we're a little bit overpointed by about 600, but, you know, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to say move, and I will say move up to there. And let's see if I get absolutely blasted out of the sky. Obviously, it has a lot of flak. It also has a lot of cannon. I'm going to go with a rapid-fire motion here, and it will eventually be bombs away. It has a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flak. However, we also have a lot of bombs, which, as you can see, is currently dropping right on top of this thing, although accuracy is somewhat middling, shall we say. Hopefully a couple of these bombs will help out. A lot of these are actually not able to fight because of where they are, so I'm going to do the dangerous thing, a very, very dangerous thing, in moving them so that they are underneath another one. In terms of the damage, we can see outside view we have taken a lot of hits, but nothing majorly critical at this stage. I'm also going to put these guys back on normal fire because I think having them on anything but will probably cause us some issues. Also, because of the distance, our bombs are scattering to the wind. So, and because this is moving as well, we're also having some issues there. But at least I'm staying above the vessel, which means that I'm able to stay away from the damage that it's been able to incur from the forward and aft guns. See, the Titan is getting hit. Obviously, we are overpointed, so I expect to not do well, because I actually have no idea on how well or not this thing will cope, but we shall see. I'm just going to continually move it around. Also, pretty much of the idea now that we should probably just get this closer. Just get it closer so the bombs, the flight time, or I guess it would be the drop time, the time to target is a lot better. You can see we've already taken out a little bit of their flak capability. I want to get out the arc of fire there. And I am going to put these on rapid fire now because we're so close. And this thing is taking a lot of damage. We are doing some damage. We're also taking a lot of damage. But the armor is holding. And hopefully now, you can see now we've had... Haha, right, we've now incapacitated the vessel. Right, let's just get on top and drop all these bombs. The problem is coal. And we are on not a great amount of coal, but I am just now hovering. But the problem is 14 coal, that means a minute of flight left. But let's be honest, it's pretty much game over for it. Outside view, oh my good grief, we've taken damage, but the only substantial damage is this. So actually, I'm really happy with that staying power. The speed wasn't great, but it was never intended to be fantastic. Alright, we'll probably lose this because of just running out of coal. That'll probably happen. But I think damage is done. Okay, let's go leave. This time we'll go with another fight, but we're going to fight another airship. So once again, we'll have in the... Oh, that's a Sparrowhawk. That would not go so well. I'm pretty much guaranteed we will lose that fight. But anyway, airship, we'll go with the Herring Gull. We'll put that in there. And another airship will be around about the same price. Oh, this thing's around about the same price. Oh, it's actually not great for it as well because we have a higher service ceiling. So let's go up there. That's got a lot of cannon, but it's also going to be a lot faster. In fact, it should have at least twice the speed of us because it's got these two here. And as you can see, what I'm doing is just trying to maneuver above it, but to a point where basically it can't get up and around us. Why is this not going forward? Oh, it is. It's just taking a lot of time. There goes the bombs away, and obviously it is trying to get past, but I am doing my best just to move around and get above it. Because of the weight of this thing, although we do have the correct amount of suspendium to stay up there, you can see it's very lurchy. It goes up and down and sort of rocks around. It also really... Ah, darn it, we've lost propulsion. Yeah, that's basically lost. Okay, leave. Right, cool. We'll try that combat once again. Add in the airship, and we'll try the herring gull versus the same thing. I think that would be, I don't think, unreasonable. So there we go. Start the fight, and I'm just going to bring it over to there. Obviously, we take a bit of a hit as we originally go towards it. This thing, after all, is made to take on buildings and slow-moving ground ships and airships. That was the original design for this thing. So far, I'm very impressed with the armor. I'm also very impressed with the bomb accuracy. Obviously, we've got a 40% accuracy bonus because of the telescope and the crow's nest. What is of some concern is the lack of coal. I thought maybe one coal store would be enough and will destroy the target before everything goes, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So I may have to slightly alter the design, but I'm looking at the ammo and I'm looking at the coal. Is that about right? I don't know. You can see that we have caused a fair amount of damage to this thing, although we are taking damage back because they've got cannons, and the cannons can do decent damage piercing. And we've also got fire once again on the rear. And what's happened there is pretty much what happened before, is we span around and we start getting shot in the back because that's the only place they could attack us from. So I'm going to keep moving forward before we lose that. We are putting that fire out, which is good. There is our... Oh, that's a nice little attack there. And we are able to pretty much bully this, although it does have better orders, and I'm going to have to spin this round and go further forward. So there we are. That's now moving in, and bombs away. And oh yeah, that's good. We've managed to hit a couple of places on it. Has it lost? I don't think it's lost propulsion. But those at the back are not moving. Oh no, one of the engines has fired up. So there we go. We've lost one bomb bay, and we've got some damage on the rear there. They've lost a fair amount of firepower on the front, and we're going to get another explosion now. So, and a fire. And there goes the bombs again on the back. But it's coal. It's coal is the problem. We are running out of coal. Right. But I think we've won the fight. They've lost the suspendium chamber. I'm going to put us on aimed fire now. There's no reason not to. Eventually this thing's going to fall out. Actually, no. Other way around. Rapid fire. We've got 88 of 200 ammo. But coal, we're down to 6. So bring it closer. I think we need more coal. I think that's the takeaway. We can stay here as long as possible. In theory, we're not taking any damage. And we've got loads of ammo. But what we don't have is coal. So what is the solution to that problem? Let's go Airship Editor, open the design. And it would be to put in another coal store of some kind. So just put that there for now. So one there and one there. So it'll be like that, something like that. And we would have to obviously connect this up like that. Overlays poor. Remove that, put it there. Bring these back. Put that there. Okay. It's not bad. It's a bit more expensive, but it's got more staying power now. I'm going to save that, because I think that will be a decent design. Save. Leave that. Back over to combat. Add the airship of the herring gull. And let's try buildings. The most expensive building, sadly, is this silent watcher. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are overpointed by a little bit. If I remove one of them, they're then underpointed. Add building. Okay. 2,344 versus 2,499. Hopefully that's reasonable. Let's move. So, they don't have any flak, but they do have cannon. Obviously, if they have a lot of flak, we may, suffer some problems. But I am moving towards, slowly, these things. And this is the type of fight that I would put this again. When we talk about fights, I should point out that I'm normally talking about campaign fights in the conquest mode, where you have certain targets and objectives, rather than just a straight-up what would win scenario. But, this could be used in fleet operations as support. But we shall see. So I've got this just above now, and I'm now using more ammo than I am coal. And I have taken some damage there, look at that. We've actually taken a bit of damage there. And, one of our suspendium chambers has stopped working. Oh, we've just turned the suspendium chamber back on. I'm actually going to bring it a little bit closer. Let's see if we can defeat these guys. We're only taking light damage from rifles, actually. It's rifles that's doing damage. And good grief, that's a big explosion. The rifles have managed to take out a suspendium chamber and chop the entire rear end off. We can no longer move, which means we can no longer win. I'm going to go to rapid fire, because I don't think we have much time here. And there we go. That's, yeah. Problematique. That's damaged. That's suffered a lot of damage. But, if we max speed it out, let's see what happens. I can't order it to move anymore, and it is slowly drifting forward by the look of it, ever so slightly. The middle one is completely destroyed. The one at the rear is not too far behind. The two forward ones are, well, first one has got damage across the board, but I'm only in a small arc of fire for the rifles. The one in the middle, oh, there we go, we've just lost our suspendium chamber. The one in the middle is, well, on the top's a bit scratched, but the rest of it is undamaged. Okay, so that was a defeat. I didn't expect that. I didn't really think they'd do that much damage, but, well, as we've seen, they did. Okay, then. Well, that's the first iteration of the herring gull. I actually didn't put the overlay on for forward drag. It's actually not bad. It's more aerodynamic going backwards, I think. 0 drag for backwards. Forward is only 4%. Downward, yeah, it doesn't like going up or down, as we might imagine, because it's so flat. But that matters not. That matters not. Either way, that's a little bit of airships and checking out a new design, the herring gull. Similar to the Dresden, which was a mid-level armed bomber. This one is a bit bigger and I think has a bit more staying power with the armour. But so far, with the very limited testing, it's not as good. Which, to be fair, is... Actually, I don't know if it is... We haven't tested enough really to find out whether it is better or worse, but certainly is slower. But it does have a higher service ceiling. So I don't know whether that's better or not. Obviously, the other designs, we had many iterations. This is the... Well, it's technically the second version because I've put this coal store in. But it is, I think, a first pass, which is okay. I do want to move those quarters up the top there and put the repair bay closer to the middle. That should have been done previously, actually. There we go. That's better. And That's better being in the middle. Let's go to overlays and pathing. We could probably remove that. No, sorry, that. And place it in the mid area, which gives us better pathing. Yeah, okay. Slight design change there. No drama, no drama. So we will save that, and I will leave it there for now. That's been a bit of Airships. If you have any suggestions for changes to be made for the herring gull, whether you want it to be cheaper, remove, say, the telescope and crow's nest, alter the design in even a small or quite large way, then by all means let me know in the comments. Also suggestions for not only names but designs you think we should build. Everything is open. Obviously I normally build them around the weapons. I normally choose the weapon first and build it around that. But if you have a general idea for, say, let's have something really fast with minimal armor or slow with lots of bombs, whatever you have in mind, then by all means let me know, and as always we will go from there. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.